All right. I am going to page 20, principle 8. I'm going to have to skip some stuff and maybe loop back around as we go along this afternoon. We shall see. So, look, the biggest point I want to make here is, John Carlton and I were just talking at lunch. Bill Clinton had this line that he went to sleep one night as the young punk in the room that nobody wanted to listen to, and he woke up the next morning as the old fart in the room that nobody wanted to listen to, and he couldn't figure out what happened in between. And John and I find ourselves in the same position a lot. And so there's always these false choices that people make in business of it's either this or it's that, right? And the latest one being made is it's either the new media and the new technology or it's the old. If you saw David Sachs speak at Super Conference, The Revenge of the Analog, you know, it's like there's these analog people like me, and then there's these digital people like him, but he doesn't think that way. And you've got to pick and choose. And so I am, first of all, people mistake me. I am agnostic about almost everything. I am only interested in what works. And I am perfectly willing to recognize that what works in your thing may not work in his thing, or a different mix of things may be appropriate. And my personal choices of what I want to involve myself in have nothing to do with what I will use in order to get results in advertising, marketing, selling, or in business. For example, I want nothing to do with online personally. I mean, nothing. That does not preclude me from using any of it or all of it for a business purpose for myself or for someone else. I just don't want to have anything to do with it personally. It's sort of like, I like kids, I just don't want to have them. You know, I mean, so I'm perfectly happy to pet yours. But that doesn't mean I have to change a diaper, you know. And so we make these false divides, and really what we should focus on every single time is what works, and mostly the new is really an evolution of the old anyway. Craigslist is classified ads from newspapers and magazines, right? Live webinars and video sales letters. I move everything I did with TV infomercials over to that environment and do it there. What is now a VSL was on a DVD, and it still works on a damn DVD sent to somebody. So I mentioned this. I thought this was, so I have a couple telling kind of examples. This is, honest to God, Airbnb magazine. It's a print magazine, paper. You buy it at Barnes & Noble. And it's put up by Hearst, who is in the magazine business, to be fair. It's a JV, obviously, with Airbnb. But look, you can clearly make the argument, what in the hell are they doing? They're an e-commerce business. Why on earth would they be in an analog magazine at a news store, at a newsstand, at a brick and mortar bookstore? Because there's a bunch of people you don't reach unless you are there. That's why. For many, this is a thing people don't even know exists. And they're never going to know it exists if it stays online only. To make it more ironic or funny to me, the way you subscribe to the magazine is with a pull-out card that you fill out and mail. Which, why on earth wouldn't we just drive to a website? Now, they've done it. So the difference between this card and a card you would have seen 10 years ago is this line for faster service. Here's where to go online. That's the only difference, okay? The rest of it is unchanged from 10, maybe even 20 years ago. And so the walk away from what was in favor of what now is I consistently argue to be a mistake. We have this with my clients all the time. We have the CD, DVD argument. You know, why on earth are we still doing DVDs and sending them out? And nobody even has a DVD player anymore. CDs, I hear that nobody has a CD player in their car, right? So first of all, this is one of the most successful home improvement direct marketers on earth. It's called Sunsetter Awnings. And their entire pitch is idea kit and DVD. Okay? You fill out a card. I'm sure by now they've added toll-free number. Have they added a website? Maybe, maybe not. But you're getting a free DVD. Now, you might say to yourself, well, that's because they're selling to a bunch of old farts. But they're not. Their homeowner demo is right at age 40. It's not at age 50 and 60. And this is their control piece. And the canary for all this is Disney. So the day I see the TV commercial where Disney has just made the new movie or the old movie out of the vault available, because they're selling to soccer moms. They're not selling to me. Right? They're selling to moms that have little kids. The day that's not a DVD and a Blu-ray, and it's you call up and give us a credit card and you get an access code and you get to go watch this online. Or it's we will send you the little doohickey and it's $39.90. The day I see that, I'm all in with everybody. Until I see that, when I walk into a Disney store, I better see a shelf of thumb drives. If I see a shelf of DVDs and music CDs, who the hell are they selling all these sing-along music CDs to if nobody has a CD player? What are they doing? Playing them with a pencil? What? You know, I mean, who's kidding who? These people are not stupid. And they have the digital capabilities greater than anybody's digital capabilities. Would they all rather be all digital? Yes. So would I. The day we can do it, and that DVD can go away and be replaced by drive to watch it online, I get to double my copywriting fees. Because we get to eliminate the expense of sending out all the stuff. I'm raising my rates instantly. You got money left over. You might as well give it to me, right? I mean, I'd be the happiest guy on the planet. Now, I'd never buy anything again as long as I lived, but I'd have plenty of money in case I wanted to, because I would double everybody's fee. So this idea that this is old, this is new. We want to do new and we want to do old is a very, very bad idea. And it has never really been totally true. Media particularly takes a long time to die. People think it's going to die long before it really dies. So a few years ago, Ben Glass, with Great Legal Marketing. So Ben pronounced the Yellow Pages dead. And I saw it in his newsletter, and I immediately faxed him, and I said, I got news for you. The zombie is still walking around. And it's still making money for people. And you may want to reconsider this position. All right? And Of course, my daughter would tell you, Yellow Pages, what's that? So I admit that there's an age bias to it, but nobody has Yellow Pages anymore. Funny, they drop them off in my driveway every 6 months. I got one, so they're not just printing them for me. I doubt it. Somebody else is keeping them. Somebody's responding to the ads, or the same advertiser wouldn't still be in it year after year after year. So empirical evidence suggests this thing still has some life in it, right? So who pronounced it dead? A bunch of young ones who don't use it. I get it, but, so I tell this story. John and I just talked about this too. We have this problem now with our clients where they abdicate rather than delegate marketing decisions to the really young ones. And my all-time favorite still is Guthrie Rinker. A few years ago, they bought this company called Trivarix, and it makes a homeopathic equivalent to Viagra. The tri is in it because it supposedly does 3 things. It actually creates arousal, it creates stamina, and it improves size. Okay? So now I'm going to meet with the marketing team. And the marketing team marches in the room. And there's one old guy. He's like 40. The rest of them are young. And there's no woman. The customer profile, the sweet spot, 60, long married. That's their data. This is the team. I'm going, really? Right? They get a reaction from a breeze. Okay? They have no earthly idea about their customer at all. They couldn't possibly, and long married. See this data? Wife is in this game. You couldn't find one 60-year-old woman in the entire world of direct response to put on this team who might have some useful input. You had to get the kids, right, to do this. So here's their ad, I swear to God. First of all, they plan on driving to a VSL. This is the drive at the end of the ad. No phone number, no nothing. You're going to go watch the VSL and you're going to order online. Right? The headline on the ad is, "Give her a night of rock star sex she'll never forget." And I said, "And we'll throw her hip out so she'll never walk again." See, you get the joke. The kids in the room didn't get the joke, right? It's like, what are you talking about? I'm going, that's not what she wants. Are you insane? I mean, you're nuts, right? This is the swing from the chandelier slammed up again. This is, no. And he wants a Rambler. It's plain, it's boxy, it's ugly, but it will grind a little bit, but it starts every single time. He don't want a Lamborghini. He wants a Rambler station wagon. That's what he wants. Of course, then they're going, "What's a Rambler?" Well, let me explain that to you. Right? So, and I'm telling you, 2/3 of the people ain't going to go watch the VSL. That's not what they're going to do. They want to pick up a phone and they want to talk to somebody, or they want to fill out a card and they want to send in a card. So, false choices versus commitment to what works. So, true renegade millionaires are like me. They are agnostic. When you ask your question just now, what separates? My best clients are agnostics. They have facts, they have information, they have empirical evidence, and they have no preconceived preference for where that leads. The ones who harm themselves a lot have a preconceived preference for where things lead, and then they are picking and choosing based on the preconceived preference. I saw a rerun of Shark Tank, 5 minutes of it the other night on CNBC, and I don't remember the product, but the guest investor was the guy that started GoPro. And this is a rerun, so this is before his company began to disintegrate. And I don't remember what the guy was on I don't even remember what the product was. But Kevin asked him, what about Walmart? And he immediately had the 5 reasons why he wouldn't want his product in Walmart, which you instantly, you know the reasons, right? It's going to devalue, right? So he went through the whole list of all the reasons he wouldn't want the product. And this thing is some kind of tech thing. And when he gets all done, the GoPro guy goes, we sell more GoPro stuff in Walmart than we sell anywhere else. He said, I don't really think you ought to stick your nose up at Walmart. If they want to carry it, we just make a slightly different unit, and we make it blue, but you should be in Walmart. And the guy was like shocked, right? Yeah, I guarantee you. If you had taken that, if they had had the time to take a little further, the guy don't shop at Walmart. He may never have been in a Walmart. He has a whole attitude about Walmart. He has a belief about who the customer is in Walmart. He doesn't have any facts. He doesn't have data. So he doesn't know anything. What are their electronic sales? What other tech shit do they sell? What are the numbers? He doesn't know anything about that channel of distribution. He just has a preconceived idea about it that doesn't fit his preconceived preference of what he wants to be. And if he's agnostic, which is what you want to be, then it's, let's look at every distribution channel there possibly is. Let's get as much information about every distribution channel as we can possibly get. Okay? And let's see what works. So like I have and we all fought it for a little while, and then the smart ones of us gave it up. So like I have a visceral reaction about eBay. Okay? It's a criminal enterprise. Well, it is. Look, the way to evaluate anything you see online is what happens if we did it offline, right? And so if you opened the largest pawn shop in the world and you fenced stolen merchandise and you had a bookstore attached to it where you sold everything that copyright and trademark infringed, how long would you stay in business? About a week, give or take, right? That's what they got. So I have a visceral reaction to it. I don't like it. I'm amazed they haven't been put out of business. It astounds me. It's a criminal enterprise, so I don't like any of it. And there's a lot of pirated info product sold on eBay. As an agnostic pragmatist, however, truth be told, it brings as much as it takes. And I can point you to $100,000 lifers who bought their first product as an illegal pirated bootleg on eBay. So the pragmatists simply make sure that we seed the product heavily with stuff that leads to us. I don't like Amazon being in the used book business. They divert a new book buyer to a used book buyer. I don't get any royalties on the second sale of the same book, the third sale, the fourth sale, the fifth sale. The only people making money are Amazon. Okay? So you got to now but that ain't going to go away. And it actually sells a lot of books to people that wouldn't buy books otherwise. So now the pragmatist says, how do we jerry-rig the book in such a way that we make sure that it leads to us, right? This is what being an agnostic pragmatist is all about. Is it doesn't even matter if we like it. It doesn't matter if we approve of it. The only thing that matters is our commitment to what works. I tell all the time, when I started in speaking and selling from the front of the room, I did direct selling groups because it's one of the few places you could get booked to speak free with great alacrity. Everybody would invite you in. And I quickly figured out colors made a difference. So we did it with the product packaging first, Amway, red, white, and blue, Herbalife, green and gold. And when I did my suits, so for all the Mary Kay groups, I had a pink suit, I had a white shirt and a pink tie, and I had pink patent leather shoes, and I was cute. And I sold 25% more stuff than if I didn't wear the goofy costume. I don't care about being seen in the goofy costume. I care about selling 25% more stuff. If a clown nose would have worked, give me the pink clown nose. I don't care. This is the agnostic pragmatist. By the way, this is Trump from a political standpoint. Let's talk a little bit about leverage. I am on page 23. So the thing about leverage is it's very hard to make a lot of money without it. Our tax structure, which is very unlikely to change, makes it almost impossible to get really rich purely from earned income. You would have to, like Chris Farley, you would have to live in a trailer down by the river and keep all the money. And even then, it's questionable. And so you have to think in terms of income and equity and leverage within a business and leverage outside a business. How do we make it do more than its core? It goes all the way back to, if I'm going to get on an airplane and I'm going to go give a speech, what are the 22 things we can do to that speech to get the most out of it? Not just its core, because the core won't get us where we want to be. So this is one that won't be in your thing. We spare no expense. So here are some points of leverage that you have to think about. One is multiple uses for the same assets or units of work. So whatever unit of work is in your business, inside the business, how do we get more than one payday for it? Info business, it's obvious, right? Do the seminar, record the seminar, sell the seminar long after the seminar is over to people who weren't there in recordings, right? It's obvious. But you have to ask yourself this about everything you do. Every customer, every time they come and go through your place of business, so like Steve Adams has done a great job in retail pet stores, upping the service aspect of the business. Right? What'd you tell me yesterday about dog washing? A big deal, right? How much of your net last year was services versus stuff off the shelf? Just in pet washing. Okay. 50 grand per store, times 42 stores. Okay. Well, why don't the other pet stores do it? Well, because we're not in that business. That's not the business we're in. We want people to come, pick up dog food, get their ass out of here. No, we want them to come, bring the dog, stay as long as they'll stay, right? We want them getting the dog washed. We want them getting the dog trained. What's he doing? He's getting multiple value out of the same customer. NRA just figured it out. You see what the NRA added recently? They got in the insurance business. There is no more profitable business on earth than the insurance business. Right? They got all these members. They all got a house full of guns. Some of them actually intend to use them. Right? If they shoot anybody now, they're going to get sued. I don't care if the guy has come down their chimney and it ain't December 24th. They're getting sued. Let's get in the insurance business. I forget what they're called, but if you got concealed carry, you need whatever this thing is. And they're in the insurance business. Same member, right? How do we get more from inside the business out of something we're doing anyway, some customer we have anyway? So I'm at Disney recently, and I'm in the Norway store, and which is rapidly becoming the Norway/Frozen store. And here's body lotion, hand and body lotion, frozen, not in your freezer. I mean frozen, the characters. Hand and body lotion, a little bottle of it, I don't know, about this big, probably. It's $40. $40. I mean, $1 maybe to make it. $2 at the most, because it's got a full color label. I mean, $40. Now I'm paying attention. In the regular gift shop, there's Minnie Mouse hand lotion. It's only $10 because it's not as popular. It's the same glop, I promise you. Okay? So I found 20 different ones as I walked around, all different prices, based on the popularity of the label, that the glop. In fact, there's no claim even for the glop. There's not like a little sign that tells you the glop is made from whiz-bang tree leaves from the papa tree, and there's none of that. There's just frozen, $40. Mini, $10. This one, the princess is on it, it's $12.50. It's the same glop. As soon as they discovered they could sell hand and body lotion, they said, how many characters we got? Okay? How can we take that same crap, same bottles, all we're going to do is change the label. If we don't sell enough of this one, we'll peel the label off. We'll put the other label on. Okay? That's leverage, right? Inside the business. Outside the business. Licensing, right? Big for Disney, Kiss, etc. Limited use rights, specific market rights. We'll talk a little bit more of that in deals this afternoon. Product converted to premiums for others. So almost Omaha Steaks. 20% of their new customer acquisition is getting companies to buy Omaha Steaks gift cards and give them away to employees and customers. They've leveraged the same thing. They got steaks. They got gift cards. Let's go convince Ford Motor Company to buy them for everybody that takes a test drive this month. What have we done? We've leveraged what we already got, plus we've created new customer acquisition. Then equity. How do we create value, equity, inside the business? So here's the two writer-downers. Value rises with continuous or continuity income versus episodic or transactional income. The value of the business goes up. Two businesses, same amount of revenue, same amount of profit. The one that has continuous or continuity income is more valuable than the one that has episodic or transactional revenue. All right? Second one, customer lifespan. Same revenue, same profit, but the business that has the longest, they keep the customer for the longest period of time. Customer lifespan, the value of that business is more. All right? So our problem at Guthrie Renker with Proactive is they age out of the problem. So the only way you extend that lifespan is if you can take them into another skincare line, right? But 80% of all acne cures itself with age. Only 20% doesn't. So they grow out of the problem. We're only going to keep them for X number of years. Disney had the same problem. That's why they bought Marvel. They bought Marvel because they lost all the boys at teen. They had no characters for teen. They doubled the lifespan of their customer when they bought Marvel. So forget income and all that. Think what it did to the value of your business. So you got to be thinking about, how do I create equity inside my business? How do I impact its value outside the business? How can you be a platform that creates other equity? How can you use your business to get equity? Again, we'll talk about deals. But here's a current Silicon Valley secret. A bunch of these famous venture capital guys, almost all the equity they're getting in these startups is for free. They're getting all the money they put in rebated in various formulas off the top. They're being paid to be show ponies. They're leveraging their personal brand. Oh, Peter Thiel invested in this. I'll invest in this. Well, they're getting paid to do that. It's not like they're really putting money in. This is the equivalent of J.P. Morgan walking through the stock exchange with his shoulder around it, with his arm around a guy's shoulder. That's what this is. So you got to think about, how can you get equity outside your business based on what you do in your business? Passive income, inside, outside. So bookstores and newsstands at the airport. They got X number of square footage. They sell X number of books. They got to give prominence to the current bestsellers. If you want to be on an end cap, like in Barnes & Noble, you pay extra. So sure, they're buying at 50% off or 60% off from the publisher. But then if you want to be on an end cap, you got to pay a slotting fee. Same deal in supermarkets. All right, we'll stock your stuff because people buy it. But if you want to be on the eye-level shelf, you got to pay a slotting fee in addition to our share of the revenue. What have they just done? Inside the business, they've created additional passive income. It didn't change anything they had to do. They still got to stock the product. They still got to shelf the product. They still got to inventory the product. They still got to move the product down the cash register line into a cart and out the door. They haven't changed anything. But they suddenly got more money passively. Outside, how can I get passive income from outside the business? So what Disney did in the past few years is they took, when they bought Marvel, they got a bunch of characters they wanted, and they got a bunch of crap characters. Some stuff nobody's ever heard of in a million years. They licensed that to Netflix. All right, we don't want it. Somebody will use it, and we'll get some passive money. Plus, if any of it catches fire, we still got the movie rights, we still got the merchandise rights. All we did is we give up this. How do you get money from outside? We very famously, Bill Glazer and I, used Glazer Kennedy as a launch pad for Infusionsoft. Right? I mean, Infusionsoft, I don't know. Maybe they could have started without us. I don't know, but I doubt it. Right? So look at your formula, right? Multiple use of the same customer, bingo. Multiple use of the same event, bingo. Multiple use of the same media, bingo. Getting paid from outside the business, not inside the business, right? All the way down to passive income, right? So you got to be alert to this simple concept. The more ways that you get money from the same unit of work or the same asset, the better. If you're going to have a pet store anyway, we might as well wash them. We might as well train them. We might as well train the owner. Do you have owner classes? You should think about it because, the problem is the person, not the dog, right? We're the ones that turn them into little monsters. They didn't start that way. We had these people in, Mike, I'm about 5 minutes away. We had these people in Titanium for a year, and they've been with us at GKIC for a long time. I think they're the number one player in training, coaching, seminars, and merchandise for pleasure horse owners. Not racehorse owners like Greg Luther and me, but people that just want to ride a horse. And there's people that just want to ride a horse. There's people that want to ride a horse in shows. There's people that want to compete, and so forth. And I don't think they ever took my suggestion, but one of their top end things is you come for a boot camp, bring your horse, and you spend 3 days or 4 days, whatever it is, and you now go home with you and your horse simpatico. It's pitched as fixing the horse, but it's really fixing the person, because the horse is okay. It's the rider who's a nitwit, right? But you can't sell that. And he said, the thing we get asked the most now is, can we just send you the horse? You fix him and send him back, right? He said, they'd pay a lot of money for that. I said, can you do it? He said, not really. He said, because the problem, of course, he's now telling me the dotted line, you understand. He's now giving me the dotted line answer, right? No, not really, because it's really the person, it's not the horse, yada, yada. I said, could you, like, fix it 70%? Could 60? Because their good enough spot is very different from your good enough spot. You philosophically want them perfect. She just wants not to get thrown off. Can you fix it by itself so it won't throw her off? Well, yeah, we could. Yeah, I said, well, you ought to think about being in that business then. I said, but beyond that, if you started from scratch with a baby horse, could you make a perfect horse, regardless of who's on it? And there are people in that business, by the way. They call them Cadillac horses. They sell them like in the Rob Report for huge money. He says, yeah, we could, if I had it from a baby, I could make it so the dumbest person on the planet could get on it and it would behave. I said, why aren't you in that business? Why aren't we selling Perinelli horses for $100,000? Why aren't you selling your own Cadillac horse? The answer should be, no, you can't just send me the horse. But I got a horse I can send you. I got one we raised from a baby. It's so perfect, you can get on backwards. You can yell, whoa, when you should have yelled, it don't matter. And it will be perfectly behaved. It's 150 grand, but it's perfect. I said, how many of those you got to sell a year to equal the current revenue of your entire company? Not a lot. Come from the same leads, the same customers? Yes. See, that's leverage thinking, right? And of course, he's got a dotted line answer for why that's not such a good idea, too. But it's a nonsense dotted line answer. I'd be in that business in a hot second, right? It's an easier sale, isn't it? Let's see, you got to come. We're going to fix you. We're going to fix the horse. You got to be here for 5 days. You got to ride around in the dust. You got to, no. We'll just ship you a horse, okay? It's got a little ignition key in the side. You turn it, it's like perfect, okay? And so that's leverage thinking. So I want to have a quick leverage conversation with some. Mike, you want to come up? We never got a, oh, yes, we did. So Mike Crow is, how many years you been in titanium? You're like.
Since the beginning.
You're like the last dog, aren't you?
I'm the last original.
The last original. So Mike and I have known each other a long time. And he's been in titanium forever. And I wanted to have the leverage conversation with him because it's a good example of one thing leading to another, leading to another, leading to another. So why don't you give him, for those that don't know, like the 3-minute thumbnail, who the hell we are, what we do.
Absolutely. So we run the largest home inspection business in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I had one company like that. We sold it for over $1 million, and we decided we needed to be doing something else besides just sitting around the house. So we started a coaching business for home inspectors. It was actually my wife's suggestion.
Well, you still have.
Yeah.
You went back in after your.
Went back and bought another one.
Yeah. After your non-compete went
So
away,
after my non-compete and everything. Yeah, my wife, I don't think, wanted me sitting at home. So
the core business, let me just slow you down.
Mm-hmm.
So the core business, which was and now is again,
The home inspection business.
Is the home inspection business.
Right. And we leverage that because
And
we have 16 inspectors.
Yeah. So it's about revenue,
Oh, 2 million plus.
which is very unusual in that business.
Yeah.
The home inspector business is a bunch of guys working out of their house with a
If
with
they
a
make
clipboard and an
100,000, they think
iPad,
they're doing
you know.
great. Yeah.
So you got 16 inspectors.
Right.
You've built a good marketing system for it. That's the core business.
It is.
Right? The core business begets the obvious question of what do you do? How do you leverage it beyond its core?
Well, absolutely. And so it kind of goes back to like the E-Myth Revisited, okay? So we built it as a prototype. Now we have people come in from all across North America specifically, but even other parts of the country, Australia even, and look at what we do so that they can take what we do and build it into their business. And
this is Millionaire Home Inspector
Millionaire
Community.
Inspector Community.
Okay.
Which, by the way, we're changing the name of it because Millionaire offends the public, so we're going to be calling it Mastermind Inspector Community. I stole that from David Phelps. He's here somewhere. I saw him use something similar.
So what does that business now look like?
Well, that business is $1 million plus, about $1.5 million, and don't spend a ton of time in it. I'm actually very fortunate. You know, Krista, of course, my daughter, she runs everything. So I get to spend a lot of time on what I want to do, talk about leverage, leveraging my kids. That's illegal, right? Okay.
Well, yeah, look, the Amish deal is, you know, every boy has to kick 10% of his earnings.
I have tried.
You know,
I
mean,
have tried planting those seeds. We're working on that.
Um,
but then that'd only be 40%. That's just not enough.
yeah, well, yeah, but you can make more.
Yes.
I
There.
mean,
Well.
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the Amish guy wants to get to 100% of his income, so
Right.
he tries to have 10 boys
Yeah.
before he retires.
As long as you don't
That's
kill
the
your
game.
wife in the process, I guess that
That's
works.
Well, you know, you could get more.
Oh, there you go.
That's their
I don't live in Utah, okay? I live in Texas.
That's their theory anyway.
It's just curious. How many Texans do we have here? Show of hands. Cool. Okay. Cool. All right. Just
So that business takes everything you're doing in the core business, boxes it,
right.
delivers it, product, coaching, training,
The whole 9 yards.
the whole. It looks like
They can come ride with us.
Look, it looks like GKIC.
Yep.
It's pyramidal.
It's exactly
Et cetera.
correct. And here's the cool thing is when you start teaching other people how to do what you're doing, you do what you're doing better. And I only spend maybe half a day a week. I said that last time from stage. I spend half a day a week in Texas inspecting. My son was on stage with me. He now manages that business, and he like choked. And I went, what's wrong? And he went, half a day a week? It's more like half a day a month. And I went over and put my arm around him and said, you know, I can fix that. And he went, no, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good, you know.
So, and now the two together
Right.
have supported the real estate buy.
It has.
So
and
explain it.
so I've always, you know, one of the things we learned out of titanium, and I've been part of titanium from like the day it was created. We actually used to call it information marketing masterminds or something like that. But one of the things that I watched was, you know, how to leverage different things and move things to a different level. And one of the things that somebody said, and I think it goes all the way back to Sherman, and that was, you know, if I have my own building, I can have more frequent meetings, and I don't have to like travel to the meetings back and forth. So it's always been in the back of my mind. So as we built the businesses, we've been looking, and we finally bought an 8,000 square foot building. And so it'll now house our home inspector business, and it's now going to house our coaching business, and we're going to have the ability now to have as many meetings as we want without worrying about hotels and how much fun is hotels, right?
Well, I mean, furthermore, what would have been rent
Right.
is now buying a piece of real estate.
Boy, that's for sure.
And look, I always say, so Summers White, I don't know if you know Summers, but Summers and I really went into business in Phoenix at the very same time. And I rented. Summers went to the outskirts of Scottsdale, and he bought a house, and he stuck his office in his house, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the outskirts of Scottsdale became Scottsdale, as often happens. This crappy little house became a really valuable piece of real estate.
Yep.
He would have been paying office rent anyway.
Yep.
He and I calculated a few years ago the difference between what he did and what I did.
Ouch.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's $5 million in his favor.
Right.
Okay? And it's just, who did you choose to give the money to?
Well,
right?
you know, there's a step in between with all that as well. So I live in a house, and one of the things I watched was a lot of coaches. What?
We assume you
We
live in a
assume that,
house.
okay. I live in a house, and I, by the way, I've been living there since '91. I don't move very often. I don't. Some things. Here's one of the things, and I know you'll touch on it, but you know, most people that are really successful, we don't go change some things. I wear the same color all the time, same clothes all the time. You know, I carry 2 blue pens but some things we don't change. But so I bought this house back in '91. But I kept seeing coaches saying, hey, I love to have people over at my house. And I was going, man, I cannot do that, okay? My house is not as clean and neat as yours, okay? My wife is a sewing fanatic, and so we have sewing everywhere. So I bought the house next door to us. And now I bring people to that. So not only did it help me have the building I just got, but the house next door. And now I bring people to that, 6 companies at a time, $3,000 a shot. So that's $18,000, and we do those probably 6 times or more a year. Because now they get to come to my house, next door to my house, okay?
Well, it's just like a show, the fake office and the real office.
It's exactly correct. I have an office set up there they can see and touch, and I sit there maybe half a day a week, you know.
Perfect.
Probably less.
So now the next piece of leverage is Coach Blueprint.
Right. So when you and Bill made the offer to become coaches for general a broader spectrum of businesses, I was the first one to sign up. I was the first, you know, IBA as we called them back then. Now we're calling them magnetic business advisors, okay? I signed up for that, and so I run chapters in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then we run masterminds, and Krista actually runs the masterminds now. I don't even run those now. And then what happened was people started saying, man, you're doing $1 million coaching. You're doing $1 million coaching. And I started getting those questions. How do you do that? And I sat down and answered a bunch of questions. In fact, I put a whole thing together, teaching some of your secrets, teaching some of Bill's secrets that you taught me. You know, one of the biggest secrets I learned from you is, you know, dollars at a discount. I've heard you say that. I've never forgotten that. So now we coach coaches, and we have a small coaching group, Coach Blueprint Champions, and we teach them how to go build a continuity business inside, you know, an industry and or even in their business. So, for instance, in the home inspection business, you know, that dotted line, right? No, but people tell me there's no way to build a continuity business in home inspections. But I have a small one that generated $60,000 last year, you know, that we've been working on. And I have one person, my younger son, that makes a few phone calls and updates credit cards and stuff like that. But it just turns out money. And honestly, it's one of the big things that helped us be able to go buy that building as well. So we coach coaches on top of that.
Cool. So the key question, by the way, anytime somebody's asking you, hey, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Right? And you like get it from a handful of people, that says there's something there you have that is monetizable one way or another if you chose, you know, to do it.
And after I got the third question, and after I got the third person saying, I'll pay you $10,000 up front and $1,000 a month if you'll coach me, I went, yeah, I could do that. And I told him, I'll give you, you know, a certain amount of time per week, and, you know, basically, I license them all of my materials because one of the things is content.
I was about to say, so here's
I
same
leverage that
unit
as
of
well.
business, right? Think about this. So pretty much everything in millionaire home inspector community, now called something else, the hard goods, the stuff, is all the stuff you use in your regular home inspector business anyway. Now here, use it.
Go use it in plumbing. Go
now
use it in
you took the same stuff for Coach Blueprint.
Go use it in dentistry.
And genericized it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty amazing. So one of the biggest things, and I have to tell you, the list of things I've been creating back here is the uses for the building. One of the things I tell people is that you plateau at a certain point, and the only way to really get off the plateau is to add a person or a system. And I told Krista, I said, maybe I'm going to add to that list or a resource, because with that building now, which really will become a system, what I'm going to do is allow some of our friends, coaches from across North America, to come use that 1,200 square foot office conference center that we're going to create for free, you know? But that will create so much leverage with me, with other people, to be able to get to know them better and to be able to do maybe bigger joint ventures with them.
All right, cool.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
All right, thank you
You
very much.
obviously, you are an exhibitor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Marlene is our project manager. She's out there. And if you want to get to know me or Krista better, just come by. And by the way, if you have interest in using that building, just get with Marlene, fill out a card, and put building on the back of it, and we'll see what we can do to help you get in. We should be moving in around September. So thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks, Mike. All right. Can we go about 15 minutes before you guys get a break? Can you hold it together for 15 minutes? Okay. All right. I can't tell you how expensive a weak bladder is. You know, I don't know what to tell you. So let's start talking about what I think is the most important principle of all, and that is accurate thinking. I'm on your page 26, I guess, and going into 27. So I said it would, I'm not sure I'm going to get it verbatim now, but I suggested it would be a good title for a book. Lemuel Tira was talking to me, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks ago, and she was actually talking about Infusionsoft. And she said, it's giving me more facts than I wanted to know. That happens with audio, video, surveillance. I had a good friend for years here. His name was Bob Bolton. He passed away a year or so ago. But Bob owned, I think, 8 Wendy's at its peak in this area. And most of the fast food have video surveillance of the food prep area, legal, you know. But they don't have audio, video surveillance of the whole shop, including the front counter. And I got him to do it and nagged the shit out of him until he did it. And 1 week into it, he said, I can't tell you how much I hate you. Because it was exactly the same thing. He said, I now know a lot more than I really wanted to know. He said, and it's not pretty. And 5, 6, 7 times a day, I am leaping up, I am getting in my Cadillac, and I am roaring off to one of the restaurants to deal with something I have just seen and heard on my laptop. And we have a tendency not to want to know a lot of stuff. And the reality is that losses drain away as much profit and value as we could ever make. So loss prevention is part of all of this, but most people just recoil in horror from a lot of accurate thought about reality of human beings, human nature, businesses. And so I had this client for almost 5 years. And he was the reigning expert in America in retail theft control for convenience stores and supermarkets. And I learned a lot from working with Jack. One, I didn't know the economics of those businesses. And I, like most of the owners, would have thought the problem was shoplifting. And their losses are not shoplifting. They have them, but the overwhelming amount of the loss is employee and delivery man theft. And in the supermarket industry, it's 3 times the owner's net. So the employee and the delivery man thieves are making 3 times what he is net from the business with no investment, no Obamacare compliance, no insurance, no risk, no nothing. Okay. And so he takes home $1 and they take $3. And of course, there's no taxes on theft. So really, it's an even bigger spread if you want to make yourself feel worse about it if you're the owner. Almost no empirical evidence shown to them convinces them that this is the problem. They really have to be beat up to buy it and to do anything about it. But that's what is going on. And technology has changed it a little bit. Cash registers work differently than they did when I worked with Jack. But by and large, I learned enough. I can spot thievery going on in a grocery store or a convenience store almost by rote. And I have yet to be in one since that year that I haven't spotted at least some. He had cataloged 132 ways that the employees steal and 71 that the delivery men steal. He was a delivery man thief, so he knew from personal experience. But the big thing that I learned from Jack is important much more broadly. And that is that 90% of all of us have what are called situational ethics. So 5% of the population is hardwired so that they cannot lie, cheat, or steal, or any of its equivalents. My wife is this way. So it's to an extreme fault. Right? And there's certain things like you can't have her doing business because she can't be in charge of it. Because she thinks everybody is like her. Right? So while you would think instantly, gee, having the 5% who can't lie, cheat, or steal under any circumstances, that's who I want working for me. Maybe not. Right? Because they think everybody's like them. So they are like, a baby that hasn't built up its immune system yet, turned loose in the world, and sent down a dark alley in a bad part of town in the diaper, toddling along, dragging a big bag of money behind him. That's kind of Carla. So there's 5% who absolutely won't. If they're starving and a loaf of bread falls off a truck as it goes around a corner, they pick up the loaf of bread and they chase the truck to the next traffic light to give the guy the loaf of bread back. This is how they behave. That's 5% of all humanity. Okay? They can't help themselves. Then there's 5%, and you all know somebody in this category. There's 5% who lie, cheat, steal, and the equivalents all the time, no matter what, whether it benefits them or not. This is how they are hardwired. They cannot help themselves. All right? They haven't told the truth since they were 3. Right? And they are at least as dangerous to have around, if not more so. But they can't help themselves. Right? And so understand, theft isn't just, I took 12 of those bottles of water and schlepped them out in the empty box to resell to my neighbors out of my garage, and I do that at every convenience store I deliver to. This is time theft, non-compliance with your scripts, your procedures, your programs. That's a form of lying, cheating, stealing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot, it's a broad issue. In between those two extremes are where you and I and almost everybody else live. We have situational ethics, meaning our lines move and adjust based on the circumstances that we are in. So most of us guys who are long married have at some point stopped telling the truth of some variation of, does this dress make me look fat? Right? See, there's no reward for the truth. So everybody has kind of learned to lie. We all view it as a white lie, right? And then most people start to stretch the definition of what is a white lie. We've learned, like, mother-in-law's coming to visit. Oh, good. How I love having you, right? So you've learned this stuff, right? It's all lying, cheating, stealing. That's what it is, okay? You've all taken office supplies home from work for your kids, but you deducted the office supplies on your taxes. That's lying, cheating, stealing. It's illegal. Right? It's actually a felony. Not that anybody's ever been prosecuted for it alone, but it is, right? So we have situational ethics. That's where we live, right? And it's important to know this about people. The example I always give that I got from Jack is if you're at the supermarket and you get out to your car and you discover the cashier gave you $10 too much change, almost everybody in the room takes the $10 in. But I can start to chip away at that. You know, it's pouring rain. You had to park 5 miles away from the store. You got your kids with you, and one of them has peed his pants. You promised to pick up your husband or your wife at a certain time, and they will be standing out in the rain, and you are late, and the cashier was mean to you, and she put the eggs on the bottom, and at some point I can tip almost everybody who says, screw it. The $10 is staying in my pocket, and off I go, right? Since you can be tipped about anything. This is what's important to know. So other than the 5%, see, this is not about good person, bad person. This is about all persons, all of us. So if you don't want it happening, you have to control the only thing you actually can control. So right now, you're all away from your businesses. But it's a weekday, so your businesses are functioning, right? If people walk into that business and interact with somebody, and you actually have a prescribed plan for how that's supposed to happen, I can guarantee you, maybe today it will, maybe tomorrow it will, but consistently, every day you're not there, no. Not unless there's audio, video surveillance and people know you're checking it. I guarantee it. Right? And so here's why. For anybody, including us, to lie, cheat, steal, it's equivalent thereof. We have to have need or perceived need, ability to rationalize, and the belief we can go undetected. Now understand, we can never control actually what goes on in somebody's head. Right? So, need or perceived need. See, that changes day by day by day. Mary was perfectly honest. Would never embezzle from you. Till her new boyfriend, who's 15 years younger than she is hot. Gets arrested, and the lawyer won't represent him without 25 grand up front. Mary just changed. Her willingness to embezzle from you just changed. If she found 25 grand in a suitcase in the parking lot 2 weeks ago, she might have returned it. Not today. So we cannot control need or perception of need. We can never control it. And understand, you can't control it by how much you pay them. You can't control them by what bonuses you do. You can't do any of that. There's reasons to do all of that, but that's not the key here. Can't control it. How about ability to rationalize? You have even less control over that. It's easy to rationalize it. I'll tell you a secret. There's 9 people in here who are cheaters on this. Right? They've abused the accompanying person registration. Now, what's funny about this is they want to be here to hear me, but they think I'm an idiot. I'm not. I know exactly who you are. Okay? And I know exactly what's happened. So there's 3 people splitting 1 full registration plus the 2 accompanying person money added together, and it divides out less than anybody could have come on their own. I know exactly the deal. Right? And I'm about to put an end to it, by the way. But these are all good people. These are all longtime good customers. They all come up, give me a hug, but they've stolen from me. How could that be? Well, because they can rationalize it. The person they helped couldn't afford to come unless they did this. There's a way to rationalize it. He's richer than God. He don't need the money. He ain't going to miss it. There's a way to rationalize it. 4.5 years ago, he said something mean to me. Look, there's a long list of ways we can rationalize shit. All right? And I can't control that in you. You can't control it in me. We can't control it at all. Convenience store employees all graze. Supermarket employees mostly don't do it. But convenience store employees, if you ever decide to own 5 7-Elevens, you got to know this is what bites you in the ass. They graze all day, and they don't pay for it. So they eat an apple pie, they eat a sandwich, they drink 4 Cokes, they graze. All right? Well, the rationalization is beyond easy. He stops by once a week and collects the money in his Porsche, right? We're slaving away here. We don't even make minimum wage. Customers are a pain in the ass. I deserve it. I need to keep my blood sugar up. I can't afford to. There's a long list of justifications for grazing at the convenience store. They don't even really think about it as theft. But if they did, they would rationalize it. So we can't control that either. Here's the only thing you can ever control: ability to go undetected. It's the only thing you can control. That's it. It's the only thing in your province with anybody: vendor, employee, partner, spouse, kid, any of it. It's the only thing you have any control over, really, is their belief they can go undetected. Because situationally, 8 out of 10 people won't do it if they believe there's significant risk of being detected. That stops them in their tracks. So Jack's analogy always was you count the cookies. So if Mama's at home, little Johnny's at home, nobody else is there, she's going to bake 12 cookies. And she's going to go out to the mailbox and get the mail. She's got to bring Johnny over. They got to count the cookies. She's got to say, I'm going out and get the mail. There's nobody here. Just you and me. The dog's out. Dad's not here. It's you and me. Okay? And we just counted 12 cookies. I'm going to go get the mail. When I come back with the mail, first thing I'm doing is counting the cookies. I'm not opening the mail. I'm not going to the bathroom. I'm counting the cookies. Okay? And if there's anything less than 12 cookies here, your ass is grass. It's the only hope she's got of there being 12 cookies. And even then, it's an iffy proposition. But if she doesn't do that, there will not be 12 cookies. Promise you. Kid can rationalize it, and he's hungry. And it's your fault because he can smell them. All right? And you seduced him. Right? What was Bill Clinton's excuse for Monica? Couldn't help myself. She came in and bent over. Really? You're a 46-year-old, whatever age he was, you're the president, you couldn't resist that, briefly, at least for the time you were in the White House, maybe? No, right? No, right? Audio, video, surveillance of the Oval Office, only hope, okay? Only hope, okay? So you got to know this about everybody. And this is about trust but verify. This is not about trust. So we would rather, inaccurate thinking is, oh no, he would never do that to me because he's my brother. He would never do that to me. We've been buddies for 30 years. I've heard it all. Jack had the list. He would never steal from me. He even takes me, the driver, the Coke guy, he even takes me on a fishing trip every year. Do you think he's taking you on a fishing trip with you, moron? He's taking you on a fishing trip with all the shit he stole from you and sold. That's what he's taking you on a fishing trip with. Right? But we all have what we want to believe. So how many of you have pets? Dogs? How many of you have dogs? Right? Okay, great. Dog people. You all think your dog, you will acknowledge everybody else's dog is dumber than a post. You all project onto your dog human intelligence. you actually have a conversation with the dog. And you think the dog gets it. You all do. We all do. I'm right there with you, okay? I will sit that dog there and I will have a conversation with it. As if all it's doing. Okay, idiot here. If I play along, I'm going to get a treat. I don't know what the hell he's saying. He should know better. I know like 5 sounds, that's what I know. But if I sit here and look like I'm intelligent, I'll get a treat. This is what the dog knows. But you think your dog gets it. I know you do. And you project all sorts of, Carla's always disappointed when the dog bites her. How can it do this to me? I'm going, you scratched its head. It don't like its head scratched, and it bit you. It doesn't care who you, it's a dog. It bites me too. It don't make any, it's a dog, right? But no, we do this with people too. We project onto them all sorts of fundamentally inaccurate beliefs and desires that are not real. And we are consistently, by the way, disappointed, and then we do it again. How many of you have ever driven old cars when you didn't have money? Okay? So I got money, now I drive old cars. Okay? Worked for 15 years not to have to worry about that shit, and I'm right back to where I was. It's amazing. Will it start? We don't know, because it's a classic. Okay? Will it start? We don't know. Will it run? We don't know. What did you all do? Every one of you. We all did it. What do you do? You talk to it. You talk to it. Come on, baby, one more time. Right? We project onto it what we want it to be, despite what you know intellectually. You know intellectually the thing is a hunk of metal, right? With problems. But talking to it won't help. All right? But you did it, didn't you? We all did it. Guys, didn't your cars have names? How many of you had names for your cars? Women too. How many have names for your car? Of course. How stupid is this, right? But we do it, right? So this is the number one way business people cause problems for themselves, right? Is we project onto people, customers, clients, patients, associates, partners, employees, onto things. Like a computer that's on its last legs. I'm talking to it. Carla says, that's not going to help. You need a backup. I said, I know, but Barbara here, right? So onto things we project how we want it to be. Onto situations we project how we want it to be, right? And we have a lot of reasons why, even when we know factually that this is inaccurate, it will be accurate for us. This person is different. This situation is different. This thing is different. No, it's not. So when I say they will all go lame, they will all go lame. Long enough, right, they will all go lame. And they are great until they're not. I mean, we have this argument about, the deportation of illegal immigrant thing. And, well, he lived here for 36 years and he didn't do anything bad. and he's paid his taxes and all that, and now he's committed this crime. We should give him a break. Well, no. First of all, he committed a crime by the way he came here. Second of all, it doesn't matter that he didn't commit a crime for 33 years. Everybody didn't commit a crime until they committed a crime and got caught. We'll break up families. I've been in prisons. Everybody who goes to jail, we broke up their family. What are you talking about? Every U.S. citizen that's in prison, we broke up their family. They're in the joint, the family's at home, and they get to come visit once a month. I mean, it's ludicrous, right? But we have this false argument. So you got to be very careful of your chosen beliefs versus the accurate thought about what will be. I gave you facts. I don't think you guys have got it yet, actually. But so we'll skip over that. So I want to talk about litmus tests, and I want to talk about obstacle courses.